Good morning, Callum.
Good morning.
Where are we heading off to?
To school.
Hello, kitty cat. Are you going howoo? Werewolves of London. Huh?
Is Linnea going to play group?
Today, no. Not today.
Where's Linnea going to go?
So, Linnea has to go get her passport photos taken. You know how you got your pictures done?
Yeah.
Well,
It's by Canary Wharf.
yeah, but we're going to go to Lewisham today. We're not going all the way to Canary Wharf.
I don't see those turners around from Canary Wharf.
No, because the reason why Papa took you to Canary Wharf is because the one in Lewisham was closed. The day that Papa took you to get your picture.
Yeah.
So just to make it easier on Papa, I just said I would come and take Linnea to Lewisham during the week. Yeah, so we're on the way, bringing Callum to school, and then Linnea and I are going to run some errands. Normal Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. Wow. So by now, you all have, I hope, watched our announcement video, and if you haven't, go check it out now and then come back and watch this video. But I just wanted to sit down for a little bit before I have to go get Callum from school. And Linnea's watching a cartoon on purpose so that I can have a few minutes to talk to you guys because, ooh, goodness, my foot fell. Because as soon as the kids get home, as soon as Callum gets home, it's like read books, do a bit of homework, cook dinner, clean up, bath time, and bed. And then by the time they are in bed, I'm also just spent and done for the day. So I really wanted to just spend a few minutes and kind of talk a little bit about how all this came about, a bit about our thought process through the whole thing. Be forewarned, I'm going to be very guarded with what I say, because if I say something that just hits a certain spot in my heart, I will just start crying. And even that, it's making me well up a bit, because this was the hardest decision that I think, I'm not even kidding, this was the hardest decision Roman and I have ever made in our marriage. And I know that that might sound kind of silly, but this was really, really hard. We have always had discussions and felt like the solution was the right thing. This took months and months and months for us to realize was the right thing, and it's still not something that our hearts are completely on board with. It's something that we know in our heads is the right thing, but we're just not, like, the other part of us is not quite there yet. And I've made no secret about the struggles of living here. We moved here in a time when the political climate was just different. We moved here when open borders were a thing that people celebrated. We found out about moving here before Brexit was even voted on, and we moved here very shortly after Brexit, knowing that we would have a couple of years to sort of allow the government to sort itself out. I don't know if they're really sorted out yet, but regardless, things seem to be happening faster now, and it's put a lot of people into panic mode. It's put companies into panic mode. I mean, I speak to parents all the time, people who are affected all the time by the chaos of Brexit, and Roman and I made a very conscientious decision. We made the tough call that for the sake of stability, for the sake of our family, for the sake of our children, that the very best thing for us would be to go back to Europe, and Germany in particular. It's a language that we know. It's a culture that we more or less know, at least for me. I more or less know it. Obviously, Roman is a native German. There's just so much uncertainty around our lives. Do we put down roots here without really knowing what was going to come in the next few years? And there's always a part of us that felt very uncomfortable with the idea of buying and settling here. First of all, to buy anything, you need a lot of money. even looking at 3-bedroom homes that are pretty modest in size. They're not massive. It's at least £1 million. You can do the math, putting that into US dollars and euros. And then of course on top of that, there's an extra burden of not being UK citizens, so purchasing a home here without having the citizenship, it was just kind of a bit much. The business climate has changed even in the last 2 years. And so a lot of the opportunity that we saw moving to London has more or less gone away over the course of the last 2 years, and it just put us in a situation where, do we stay or do we go back? And Roman has more opportunities. It was really just, logically, it was really a no-brainer. The whole situation has created internal chaos for us. Not knowing what do we put down roots, do we go back? It's been very, very, very difficult. But I think for us, the epiphany came, I guess sometime around November, October, November. Callum had his international week in school and he was so happy talking about Germany. The kids had just come back from a weekend in Germany visiting for Roman's cousin's wedding. It was the weekend that I was home here by myself. And I saw the happiness that my children had being in their culture. I know that my children are equally happy here. I know that they're happy here, but there's something about seeing the happiness, experiencing the culture in which they were born in which their family is in. And I started to feel very sad because I realized my children were just not getting that cultural experience. Of course they're getting a cultural experience living in London, but they were missing so much of who they are. They were missing so much of Germany and America, and we just haven't had the ability to travel as much as we, I think, had expected to. And it just clicked, and it all just suddenly dawned on me that as much as we love London and love our friends and love, oh gosh, as much as we've loved the experiences of living here, I think about all the amazing things that we've seen and that we've done. It's just not the right fit right now for our family. It's just, at this point in time, a better fit for us. And I think the reason why we have stayed, to be honest, as long as we have, is because of the friends that we've made. That is probably, well, that's the reason. That's the whole reason. Roman is taking on a different position with the same company. It's something that he's very excited about. I'm excited for him. I see a lot of life in Roman since all of this has kind of gone through and has come into fruition, and I've missed that in him over the past few years. It all happened so easily that it's like, as difficult as life has been here, it was so easy to go back to Germany with this situation, with this job, with everything. So we are very fortunate in that way. I'm very excited about checking out Berlin and living in Berlin. I have been there. Roman and I went back in 2011, I think. I'm also gonna miss London so much. I look forward to what's coming, but the idea of saying goodbye to London is, oh, it's like one of those breakups that just leaves like that lasting impact. It just wrecks your soul. And I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with leaving, and I couldn't make this video, I couldn't make the announcement until I was able to talk to our people, our village here, and I wanted them to hear from me personally what was going on. And everyone's been nothing but supportive, and I know I didn't want to do this. I did not want to cry. Everyone has been very supportive. I feel so happy knowing that when we go back to Germany, I don't just have family across the pond in America. I also have family here in London, and that's a much easier plane ride. I hope that you stay with us as we make this transition to Berlin. It's a place I've never lived before, so a lot of stuff will be, oh, it's gonna be so emotion filled, because it's going back to Germany. It's leaving the comforts of London. It's just going to be very different. I hope that you stay with us. I hope that you continue on this journey with us. And yeah, we're moving to Berlin, which is something I haven't said publicly yet, but we're moving to Berlin.